Hello and welcome to the Malastare project. I kind of forgot to film this bit of the intro when I do my actual intro, so here's me doing it now, just over me setting up the camera. Also, my voice is really nasally in this section. I don't know why, I think it was sick with something. So basically, this is just to explain that I was building the stun tanks in this week's episode, and this is basically explains why I missed a couple of weeks.
Basically, between the last week and this one, the convention happened, and I basically completely ran out of time to film things as I was just rushing through to get everything done in time. So this week won't be the step-by-step building we saw before of the Zillbeast. This will be more of just an individual showcase video of the two stun tanks that I made. So this is that. This is my two stun tanks. Hope you enjoy.
And here is the stun tank itself. I'm actually really happy with how the design of this came out. It's nowhere near minifig scale or anything like that. Like, this front compartment should be able to fit like at least 4 people, if not more. It barely fits 1. But besides that, I'm really happy with how this has all come together. So I'll take you a quick rundown of basically how it all looks. Starting from the front canopy, you can see it's got this long nose section here. Just realized that's put on wrong. There you go. So it kind of runs down like that. There's loads of different interesting shapes and techniques in order to build this. The way that you can tell that this is not an actual Lego model is basically if I just show you the bottom. Yeah, it was an interesting creation to put together. But basically it's entirely created from snot on the bottom. But yeah, so you can see that's how the front comes together, loads of different interesting angles and whatnot. You can see I've used quite a lot of stickers on this model, stickers and printed pieces together. I will not be able to tell you where all of those pieces come from, bar a few, but I thought just to introduce some different colors and some more details to it. Yeah, moving up, if I just spin the turret around slightly, there is a way that you can get into the canopy. It's basically just breaking apart the pieces like that, and then that's basically you in the front there. You can see not a ton's going on in there. It doesn't really have a control panel and doesn't really fit a figure, but when you put it's quite a dark windscreen, so when you do put it down you don't really see too clearly in there, and then when I put on the roof section you can tell that even more so. You can see behind that we've got just a little bit of piping running down to the main cannon. The cannon, in terms of its rotation, it can swivel almost 360 degrees, just that back bit is hitting it. And in terms of its elevation, you can move it up and down a fair bit, although this bit in the middle does like to spin. So I just like to have it in that normal slanted position. You can see there's loads of different one of my favorite techniques is this just entire section here with all the slopes running around in a really nice pattern. Really like how that looks together. Most of my basically design from this came from one reference photo, which is this. You can see I'm really happy with how I got these red tiles in here to basically represent the red bits of the base, and I think they fit really well. Look, that's where I started this build actually, was these bits, and basically to work out my scale from that. And then also the scale of the turret also had to work out a good area of how big I wanted to actually build this. This turret is actually very easily removable. It's only attached by one stud onto that jumper there. So basically, because that was the only way I was able to do it, because it had to be uneven because of how I was building the rest of it. This is what the front angle of the tank looks like. It doesn't look too bad from this angle. I'm just happy with how I've got the red on the insides. Studs are running in every single direction throughout this entire build. And then from the other side you can see it's the same with all the stickers and all the details, with small little cannons on the right there, and then the big one on the top. Moving around to this side, you can see I've got this other little section. This bit isn't too accurate, but I just think it looks quite good, with some more dark red just showing through inside there. And then running around to the back, you can see a couple more stickers used. And then this is the back half of the tank, again, just loads of details, trying to make it look as good as possible. I didn't get a great view of the back of the tank, so a lot of this was just random pieces and just what I thought it might look like. Probably should have put some kind of thruster back here, but I still think it looks quite good otherwise. But yeah, there's not really too much to show besides that, and that's just the tank, and I'm really happy with how it came out altogether. So now it's time to build a second one. Okay, I've gone back to my original image of what this mock is going to look like. So I've got my big Zillobeast there, which I built in the previous episode, and then working on these tanks. You can see I've got, they're much bigger than I was expecting them to be to fit onto this base plate, so they're going to be fairly much bigger in those big squares. But looking through my part collection, I don't know if I have enough pieces to build a second one. So there's a couple of directions I can go with. I can either just have one and put it in the middle, but I feel like that would look almost unfair in terms of the two sides. My other option is to change one out for an ATT or a gunship or something. But in that case, like, I really like how this looks in its symmetricality and how they look the same. What I think I am going to go with is my third option, is where I build out of the pieces I do have as much of a second fighter tank as possible, and then just basically have the other bits that I don't have as battle damage. So it looks like the Zillobeast has already taken out one of the stun tanks, just to give some more drama and action to the build. I do like that idea quite a lot, and I think that's the one I'm going to go for. So I'm going to build as much of a second fighter tank as I can, and then out of the rest of it, I'm just going to build it battle damage. So let's have a look at that. Well, I've built the second fighter tank. From this angle, you can barely tell there's anything different. I didn't have a lot of the stickers on the first one to do the second one, so it's a bit more blank. But you can see here, like, oh, it's pretty much the same, like from the front going down, just like this one here. Until I raise up and you realize this one doesn't have a turret on it. And actually, if I spin the two around, you'll see, hold on a minute, this is missing. It's actually missing quite a lot. Basically, the parts I was really missing was a lot in this front nose, and then a lot in this main build on the side. So you can see that I've just cut that out entirely and just built like a small stub. That you can see this one does fit a clone because it doesn't need the fin on the helmet. So I've just got a little skeleton man in there because he's been blown up with his tank. And then these pieces as well, I didn't, even you can notice on the side that I did do, that's not built the same as this one. But with this, I've just basically taken a lot of black bricks and dark bluish grey, because that wasn't really too prominently featured in this one, just to make it look like this entire side of it's been completely blown out or smashed up by the Zillobeast. And there's some different blue pieces and that red wire to look like interior wirings or whatnot inside the actual tank. And I think that really works to make it look like it's just been completely blown out and charred away. With the top, I probably could have done this a little bit better, but I just have some different flame pieces knocking about to make it look like this has just been smashed to pieces, essentially. So, while not hugely technically difficult, and definitely I prefer this one far more, I am actually quite happy with how this turned out, because now I do have two generally similar looking fighter tanks of the same shapes. So yeah, I'm super happy with that. That's really all I've got for this update. So I will see you in the outro, I guess.
And there we go. I know this video wasn't as long, but it was basically just to showcase the stun tanks. I'm super happy with how they came out in the end. Even though I wasn't able to show you the full design process, I think they still look pretty good, even if they can't fully fit a figure inside, but oh well. But that's that for this week's episode of the Malastare project. Next week, we'll be focusing on the terrain. And I promise you now, I did film a couple of bits beforehand on that episode. I got pretty stressed towards the end, let's just say that. But as for this video, that's that. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, like the video, that's what the like button's there for. Comment which of your two tanks is your favourite. I think it's a bit obvious, but you never know. And subscribe so you do not miss the next part where I almost entirely break down. Thank you so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. and goodbye.